Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you guys seen in the description, we're building this mini bike today. You know, I think I'm actually a little bit more excited doing this than actually working on the CRX. I don't know why. It's probably not a good thing, but I think the CRX should be enjoyed a lot more. So I'm here with my brother today. We're gonna sit here and put this together, and today's goal is gonna be actually try to get a test run on this thing. Maybe try to get a top end speed and see what we can do out of it. Maybe if it's still too slow, maybe we have to get a smaller sprocket, get a farther top end. And as of now, you know, the main goal is to get it all put together. That way we could get a good paint job on it and make it look fresh. So all in all, you know, you could go out and buy one of these real cheap. You could actually, you know, find these dirt cheap. You know, I kind of overpaid for this one, but it's kind of hard to find out here in my area because it's so small. So I paid $80 for this one. One of the main problems was that I didn't have a seat, so that already, you know, upped my price on the bike. And then little things like this brake lever was broken, and you know, other than that, I wasn't worried about anything else, because I mean, all in all you need is the wheels, the frame, a brake, and a throttle, and you're good to go. Oh yeah, that's the other thing that was missing, you know, the throttle. I had no throttle, so that was another expense. So all in all, you know, in this build I got about $400, and honestly I'd done a lot cheaper before on one of these things. So you could go out and, you know, find these pretty much fully built, somebody that doesn't know what they have, and you know, they stored it in their garage and never change the fuel, and it never starts, and they're not mechanically inclined. So you could go out and find one, you know, with the engine and everything, and get it for dirt cheap because it doesn't run. And 90% of the time all you got to do is buy a new carburetor and, you know, start. But you know, I'm a big fan of this Harbor Freight engine because it's basically a Honda clone and it works real good. So that's what we'll be installing in this one. So like I said, right now this video, the main goal is going to be get this thing running. So basically all we got to do is bolt that engine onto the frame, mount the torque converter on it, the chain, throttle, brake, and we're good to go. So I mean, to me that sounds like a pretty easy job, because this bike is already designed for a pretty big engine, so the holes are pretty much drilled to exactly where you need them. So this engine should pretty much just, you know, it's basically bolt on, bolt off kind of deal. So it should be pretty easy. And you see, what I'm thinking of doing is just gonna strip this thing. So this fender is broken, so I'm just gonna strip everything and just make it a little frame and just paint it. So like I said, let's get it all put together and get it on the road, and then we'll take it apart and paint it all up. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so sure enough, here we are in the middle of, you know, trying to mount this Chinese torque converter. And you know how it goes with Chinese parts. And you know, since this is an engine that is a clone to the Honda, nothing's going to be exactly the same as a Honda. I'm not even sure, because I'm pretty sure we've had this problem before in the past, but I'm not even sure if the Honda one is this thread too, and they just sent some wrong bolts, you know, or screws, some wrong screws, because they send these with the kit and they sure don't fit in here. But you know, I collect a little bit of screws, so I found one that fits perfectly. So now all I got to do is run to the hardware and try to get some good ones of these. That way we can bolt it on and, you know, get her on the road. So we're gonna run to the hardware store real quick, and we should get back to it. Alright guys, so here we are back again, back with some new screws. You know, it sucks, these, you know, the little hardware store where we got these, they were $1 each. So a little pricey for a freaking screw, but it's alright. At least we found them and we didn't have to drive too far. Little shop is like 10 minutes away. And it's crazy because my brother just pulled up without even telling us. Pulled up with Killer Dog.
This looking like he's gained a lot of weight. Hey buddy, hey buddy boy, hey buddy.
Pulled up with his mini bike.
This
What is this? A little doodle bug?
Baja dirt bug.
It's a Baja dirt bug. Nice and clean still.
Ready to rock and roll? Or?
Yeah, but I put the front tire on.
Did you get it to start?
I haven't even forget. It's started. It's been started. I just took the gas out when I.
Yes, Julian.
Huh?
Julian was kissing me.
He's ready to ride this bad boy. It's looking clean. Oh yeah.
With that motor on.
Your ass can't ride that shit.
Only just 5 miles per hour.
I'm gonna blow that poor motor out.
You see the problems with these things when you put a 212 torque converter like I'm doing on that other Baja, is that the sprocket is so big, so there's way too much torque. So this basically would be a wheelie machine. You know, heavy guys like these guys, it's a little bit more forgiving.
Found a fucking.
But on my skinny ass, this thing's nothing but a freaking wheelie bike.
Like sprocket.
Stitch, stitch, stitch. Alright guys, so I'm gonna finish putting this torque converter on, and then we should try to mock it up onto the bike and see if it's gonna fit perfect. Alright guys, so on the torque converter you got multiple holes where you can line up. And the thing, like I said, it's Chinese, so it's nothing but, you know, little, you know, things that they didn't do right, exactly like on a Honda or anything. So these holes are not lining, they're lining up, but it's not exact to where the screw could, you know, screw onto the engine. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna drill the hole a little bit bigger on my drill press, and that way, you know, I could just screw them on real good now. So I'm just gonna mark them up, which ones I need to drill, and then we'll drill them up. So the engine's sitting this way, so it's not lining up with the holes on the frame. So what my brother said on the one he built, that he had to cut this whole plate here, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I gotta cut this whole plate all across on the torque converter, basically, you know, make it flush to the mounting plate. It shouldn't be that hard.
Like getting stuck.
That's it.
The weight,
Too much weight. Right in there?
too much weight.
John, brakes don't work. Brakes don't work. It was only 97 cc. You know, for a 7 or 8-year-old, that's power right there.
The throttle's getting stuck.
Yeah, the throttle's getting stuck.
Full send. Fuck.
Right. That's how it's been since I picked it up. It's a track.
The thing is, it doesn't run. It doesn't accelerate, but when it does, it doesn't want to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing needs a swap ASAP.
Needs a Predator
For sure.
ASAP with a torque converter and a better
Tiny guts.
and a better rear sprocking, and that thing will be golden.
Yeah, but I'm put maybe like. By the time I'm done with this, I'll probably have like $500 into it.
Huh? And as you guys can see already, this thing's already looking like a complete bike. So my brother's suggesting, you know, removing this big handlebar and put that one on this one. That way it could be more comfortable ride, because this one's smaller, and it seems like a pretty good idea since that's a bigger bike and this is a you know, what do you call it, a lower profile handlebar. So I think it might look a little bit better. So yeah, we probably will do that. We'll just replace this handlebar with that one over there. You know, so all we got to do now is bolt the engine down, change the handlebar, put the chain on, and oh yeah, add some oil and gas and the muffler. I forgot about the muffler. I am gonna cut this muffler and just use this little piece so I can bolt it down and bend the little pipe and bend it on there just so it goes straight back, or I'll probably give it a little curve and push it out back here on this side. So we'll see what happens when I get there. Right now, let's just finish bolting everything up. Alright, so as you guys seen, we got the chain now on. Also the brake line feels a little bit stuck. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna run a little bit of BP penetrator on that line. You know, it gives it time to penetrate and hopefully breaks that line loose a little bit, so it'll be a little bit more easier to hit the brake, because we definitely want to have brakes on this. Well guys, as you guys can see, this thing's pretty much all put together. You got an intake. You know, unfortunately I couldn't get the brake to work, but hey, who needs a brake for a test run? So he's about to put some fuel, try to get that engine to start. And I just finished putting the oil. The seat is just on there, just to, you know, give it a test run. And we're gonna see if this thing pulls, you know. So it still needs a little bit of work, but hey, as long as we can get a run right now, that'll be a plus. So let's check it out. Let's see if we can make this work.
Go.
Well, starts right up. You know, it sucks I have to take the shield off the muffler, so I hope it doesn't melt my seat. This is just for the time being, just to get a run.
What's that loud ass sound? Is it the chain rubbing?
So we definitely need brakes on this thing, so that's another thing we got to figure out. So yeah, unfortunately, you know, it got dark on us and we didn't get it to run today, but we'll leave this project for tomorrow, and for sure we'll get this puppy rolling good. I can't wait to hit the dirt road, you know, top out the top speed on this thing.
This handlebar.
Yeah,
The handlebar is the way to go.
that's the way to go.
Yeah, it feels so legit.
As you guys can tell, how tall are you, Choose?
About 5'10".
So he's 5'10", and look at him, man. He weighs like 200 plus. So, you know, he's a big dude and he looks comfortable in there. Yeah, you know, still need some pegs, but other than that, you know, it's really, it's pretty much there. Like I said, guys, you guys can find these things real cheap and have a real good time on them. You know, I know what it is. So, you know, I did overpay a little bit because I know I could get my money's worth out of it for sure and enjoy the heck out of it. So, you know, like I said, you can find a good body you know, pretty much ready to slap on a new engine and you're ready to go for dirt cheap. Since his bike is pretty much ready to go, we're probably just gonna take that and slap it into this. That way we could get this puppy rolling too, and we'll go hit the dirt roads, slap some GoPros on here and do some hooligan shit. Huh? What do you think? You and Buster, maybe we create a little sidecar for Buster. Get him rolling. He loves cruising, so I bet he'd probably love a little sidecar on this thing, or even like a little trailer in the back just to give him a ride. You know, I took the cover off the exhaust, so I'm letting it cool off right now because we had it on. And what I'm gonna do is, I had this conduit, so basically electrical tubing. It's probably not the best thing to use, but I had it here, so that's what I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna cut it, and I got myself a little pipe bender. I got me a little pipe bender, and honestly I never used this thing, so we're gonna give it a test today, see if this thing works. So basically what I'm gonna try to do is, you know, shape it up to push it to the back. I think this should work out pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna cut this exhaust off of this piece and then sand it down and weld this piece to there once the pipe is you know, shaped up like I want it. Hopefully that little pipe bender works. All right guys, so here I have this, just mocking it up, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna leave it like this and then just give it a little bit more of an angle over there. That way it's kind of straight and I don't have to fight with all these bends up in here. Just make it easy and make it good, and then if down the road I decide to do it another way, then I'll do that. For now, let's just give it a little quick bend. All right guys, if you guys can see there, I marked it. I put 3 lines, and then I got 3 lines on this thing that matches it right up. So what I'm gonna do is tack it up right here off the engine, and then we'll test fit it and see if it works. The thing about conduit that is basically poisonous. It's got some chemicals, you know, basically the rust resistant chemical that, you know, is bad when you weld on it. So you really have to have a ventilated area. So let me just weld this up real quick. All right guys, so there she is, nice and welded. As you guys can see, it's kind of blowing the exhaust fumes back in the back, right out in the back of the tire. There's a little gap here. I'm thinking I might put a little bracket here just to hold vibration. You know, it's not the best weld in the world, but my mask wasn't working, so I had to use the one that's all pitch black. So I burnt through the little pipe a little bit, so I had to go thick on it. But other than that, it turned out pretty good. So now all we're gonna do is give it a little run. Let's give that engine a start and see how it sounds. Hell yeah, this thing sounds real good. I'm real excited now. This little machine is gonna be an animal on the road. It's gonna be a beast. Well guys, as you guys see, that little exhaust puts in work. It definitely sounds like a little chopper now. This thing's gonna be a beast. I'm actually excited now. Sucks it's cold and it's night and no headlight, so what I'm gonna do now is basically work on trying to align the engine right, get it right, and maybe work on that brake. That way we could get it on the road tomorrow. Alright guys, so it looks like I got the chain pretty straight. It looks like there's enough gap on each side. We'll see when it gets tension if it does anything different, but so far it looks pretty good. Alright, so there's something else happening. There's something fishy about this torque converter. It sounds a little weird, like if it's still hitting something, and it almost sounds like it's in here in the little clutch mechanism. So I'm gonna take it out and see what's going on, see if I put something wrong or what, because it sounds weird. I'm not liking that sound. Alright guys, so I found out what was hitting, and sure enough, these freaking idiots sent me a freaking 35 chain tooth for the torque converter. you know, it should come with two. It should come with a 35 and a 45 and a 40, but this one just came with two 35s. So basically now I gotta contact them and see what they're gonna do about this, because this ain't right. You know, now I gotta wait to give it a test run, because this thing's running a 35, so it's not gonna change. And honestly, I think my brother's got a torque converter, so I'm gonna see if he has a good 40. So let me contact my brother and see what he's got going on, because that's what's sounding like it's ripping. So the torque converter's fine, it's just that. So let me see what my brother says. You know, it's been a few days since we worked on this little mini bike, and here we have a new sprocket for that torque converter. So this should get our, you know, our chain rolling again, so it shouldn't be hitting anymore. You know, last thing I left off with was, you know, I was trying to get the chain straightened out, that way we could ride it. And also my brake lever was locked up, so I ended up just ordering a new one, that way, you know, we could have good brake, because like I said, definitely want to have good brakes. So what I'm gonna do right now is just finish this off, install that brake, and hopefully get it on that dirt road, you know, get you guys a little clip of it, you know, cruising down the dirt road, and get some crazy clips. And then, you know, we can start thinking of paint job for the next video. So now all I got to pretty much do is change this brake cable. And then I did notice that this little hole here is kind of small for this. So I think I'm gonna drill in here a little bit, that way this sits in there pretty good and it won't be sliding around, and hopefully that gives me brake. And then another little problem I have is I let my cousin borrow my compressors, so I have a little air pump, but it doesn't want to fit back here. So the little valve is in a weird situation right here, because it's so close to the little drum that it's not letting me bolt the little air compressor. So like I said, that little valve is in that weird situation where it's not letting me bolt this little thing in here, because it's just so big, and like I said, the drum's in the way. So another thing I was thinking of doing is, I got this little pressure tank. I actually found this thing, so you know, I was lucky for that. And I guess I could run to the gas station, fill this up, and then hook it up to my hose. That way I could use the little adapter and pump it up that way. Because I did have this fix-a flat, if you want to call it, quick repair or whatever, but it's the same situation. I can't bolt it down. So that's what I'm gonna do. So, but first I want to get this brake going first, make sure that's good before I go get some air to get this, you know, before I get these tires aired up. All right guys, so that was pretty easy. As you guys can see, the new brake line. Like I said, these things are so simple, so you know, anybody could do this and have some fun. Brake seems like it's grabbing, might need to be adjusted a little bit more, but I could just tighten this just to give it a little bit more, tension. Pretty much max it out, that way brake grabs good, because there's definitely gonna be some power behind this. So that being said, we got this good. So now let me go get some air real quick, that way I can air these things up. Grab this tank. Buster, you going? Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on, my dog. As you guys can see, 50 psi is what I got out of the little compressor for $1. Got my hose here, just got to plug it in and air them up. Nice, guys, that was a success. So basically, gonna start it up, give it a little test run right here. And if that works, we're gonna slap the GoPro on this thing and go up the hill on the dirt road. Guys, this thing's a freaking monster. So apparently, I got it started with the choke off, and then I choked it, so I felt like it was kind of sputtering, and I didn't know why. So I, changed the little switch on the carburetor. This one, and man, this thing flies, popping wheelies on me. I only weigh about 29 pounds, so this thing is a monster. It freaking goes. Here, let me put it down here and watch, and just watch. I'm gonna gun it and it's gonna bust a wheelie. This thing's freaking awesome. I honestly feel scared to shit riding that thing. That thing's freaking powerful. I'm actually second guessing those dirt roads because just right here in this gravel and it's slipping. I think I am gonna adjust the brake a little bit more just because it does feel like it's not grabbing. I definitely want brakes. And then, so I'm gonna switch it to the GoPro and we're gonna go for a ride. So my camera just broke loose. You guys can see up here, it's a steep hill down. This thing doesn't play around, it freaking rips. I gotta be a little careful here. chilly out here. But man, this dirt road is one of the scariest dirt roads I've ever been in. You guys can see, this thing has so much gravel. No traction for these tires. Like right now, I'm going down this hill, and I'm just letting the engine idle because if I do anything, I'm gonna kill myself. That definitely been the most fun I've had in a long time. I think this is funner than CRX. So I'm just sitting here holding the brake. That way I don't go faster than I can handle. Because if I have to suddenly hit the brake hard, I'm definitely slipping. There's no grip with all these rocks on here. Well guys, I'm back from that ride and I still got wet boogers because it's kind of chilly and this thing freaking rips. The thing is insane. That's why I highly recommend you guys try to find some of these things and build them for dirt cheap. I mean, $400 and I guarantee you're gonna have the best time of your life. So right now, you know, I basically gotta take it apart and give it a paint job, and I'm definitely debating if I should do some champion white like my engine bay or the SI blue, because I still have a little bit of SI blue too laying around. And if I do the champion white, I'm definitely going with red wheels, and if I do the champion blue, I'm definitely going with yellow wheels, just to contradict those two colors. You know, they go back and forth, so they always look good on each other, you know, red and white and blue and yellow. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Should I paint the champion white or, you know, the SI blue? Also stay tuned. Next time I have a free day, and my brother has a free day too because he's been building that yellow one, I'm definitely gonna try to, you know, hit dirt roads all the way to his house, and he lives about 20 minutes away from here on regular roads. So I'm sure if I could, you know, check the map and try to find some dirt roads, I'm sure I can make it out there, and then we could go cruise on them and definitely, you know, enjoy some good old days. You know, these, like I said, I had these back in the day and it was so much fun, so it's definitely worth it. So guys, I'm gonna end the video here. I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll be having more videos soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.